Had a little listen to his podcast, huh?
Dude, it's educational. And besides, I've been wanting to listen to this one.
Welcome to Idling in the Impala, a podcast by and for lovers of supernatural and the fan fiction it inspires. Before we begin, just want to remind you to follow us wherever you listen so you don't miss any episodes or bonus content. If you love what we do and want an easy way to show your support, please consider leaving us a positive that's all the stars rating on your favorite listening platform. It helps SPN and fanfic lovers find us and share in the fun. I'm Sandra.
I'm Kasey. I can't leave my microphone alone, apparently.
Yeah.
But happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday
to Idling in the Impala. We are turning 4 years old. 4. We're nearly ready to start full-time school, which means our parents can kick us into the fucking schoolroom and not have to deal with us anymore. I don't know. I think in the UK, we'd be in nursery. I think maybe we'd be in pre-K.
Pre-K. Yeah, it's pre-K.
We're not quite ready to be in full-time 9 to 3 school.
No, we still need a lot of supervision. We really do.
And we're definitely not ready to be left unsupervised in any capacity. But we are old enough to not be like glued to our parents' legs anymore. Yay, well done.
Aww, I remember those times. Yes. Yeah. I was also thinking, because I'm thinking we're going to be calling this inspection time, because normally here, and I'm sure in the UK as well.
Is that what you call it? You get your car inspected?
Yeah, like after so many years, if you have your car's been on the road or whatever, it's usually time to take it to the motor vehicle and make sure wipers are working, lights are working, brakes are working, all of those kinds of things. So it's like our inspection time as well, like to see how baby is doing, how the Impala is doing right now.
Do you have like a test that your car has to do every so many years to make sure it's still roadworthy?
So how I'm looking at it is, let's say I'm assuming that our Impala is brand new, right? So like when you first get a car here, the way the registration works is it's usually good for, say, about 4 or 5 years. And then it's time to go to the motor vehicle and make sure it's still good. Then after that, if everything is okay, usually every 1 to 2 years, depending on here where I am in the state of Delaware, whatever you pay for, you could pay for 1 year, you could pay for 2 years. Again, depending on the state of your vehicle. Like if your vehicle's good to go, there's not any major issues, you'd be good for another 1 to 2 years based off of that. So this is sort of like inspection time for us because we've gone through quite a bit of mileage on our journey so far on this podcast. So we thought we would talk about some of the things, some of the different milestones that we've reached. And also for people who may have just found us for the first time, this is going to be sort of like, this is going to be sort of like our introductory episode. So if you go to a podcast platform, usually they have a suggested audio, video, whatever. This will be what I'm assuming is going to be our new like introductory. Hi, welcome. If you've been with us forever, you get to hear about us all over again. Lucky you.
We're really exciting though.
If not, you just get to hear about all the things we currently do, what we have done, all that stuff. We are going to try and wing it, but I thought what we should do first is for anybody who's...
Sandra does not want to wing this.
Anybody who's maybe new to talk about who we are. So, Kasey, I want you to go first this time, because last time you had me go first.
So I will take over at this point. So who are we? We are Idling in the Impala podcast.
And that's it. That's all you need to know.
I'm changing Google tabs. Give me a fucking minute, bro. So, who are we? We're Idling in the Impala podcast. We posted our first episode on December the 28th, 2021. Since then, we have posted 233 live episodes. Now, Sandra will have to let me know if that is just counting episodes, or have you counted ramble-ons and
so anything that's
canon fodders and stuff like that?
Ramble on, that's a bonus episode. That's everything. Now, I will say, we'll probably talk about this later. There were episodes that we did have that are no longer available. We could talk about that later. But currently, right now, 233 episodes.
That's all our main sort of episodes like this, main podcast episodes that go out once a week. We've got ramble-ons, which is Sandra's podfic narrations. We've had bonus episodes when the Winchesters came out. when season 3 of The Boys dropped. All told, all in, 233 live episodes, which is fucking insane.
Mhm.
That's insane. Basic stats about us. We have a Spotify account. We have 285 followers on Spotify. Holy shit. We have a YouTube account. We have 255 subscribers on YouTube. So, like, all told, there's like over 500 of you. That's fucking insane. I know there's overlap, but like, let me dream, okay? That's fucking insane, okay?
Well, no, we had asked before too, because like I was always under the assumption that there's a lot of overlap, but there may not be with that. So I think there's a small percentage.
When we've asked our community, hey, where do you listen? People do tend to say they listen in one place only. So maybe not too much overlap, but I'm still counting it as over 500 across the board.
Yeah.
That's insane.
But if you subscribe and you listen to us, please subscribe like everywhere you can, because every subscription does help with because there's just so much with the algorithm. And if you don't have enough people subscribed or commenting or doing the things, we can kind of get lost. The more
you engage with us, the more people see us, but the more you see us as well.
Mm-hmm.
The algorithm will give you what you want.
Yeah.
You know, drop a like on the videos, give us a rating on audio platforms, leave a comment, click the links in the description, all that good shit. So that's who we are. That's what we are. We are a supernatural fandom and fanfiction podcast. We are not a rewatch podcast. We just jump around willy-nilly. But who are we? Who are you listening to right now? So I'm Kasey. I'm the resident Brit. I'm a fucking mess. Out of the two of us, I'm the pantser, which means I'm the one that shows up woefully unprepared for every episode. I'm the one that shows up and goes, I remember the Google document. Like it's considered noteworthy if I show up having read the material for that week. If I show up and I've already looked at the Google document, that's noteworthy. Like, we make note of that in the episode. I'm a spouse. I'm a mum. I'm queer as fuck. I'm neurodivergent. I'm a mess, you guys, but I'm also really, really funny. It balances.
They are.
I'm the Sam Mortal. I got guns of steel from holding up that fucking moose. Y'all don't even know. I'm the Sam Stan.
Can you still say that though? We might have to revisit that part as well.
What do you mean? My guns of steel? What do you mean?
No,
they're right here, bro.
Holding up the moose. We'll get back to that later. I think we'll get back to that later.
I hold up the moose because I don't let anybody else fucking touch it. That's why. Okay. Nobody else is allowed to touch the moose.
That makes sense.
Moose.
That makes sense.
He's my moose. But complaining loudly completes me. So leave me alone. I'm British. It's a national pastime. But yep. I'm the Sam model. I'm the Jared model. Love Dean, love Jensen, but Sam is my solo character. He's my heart. I'm a writer, so I write. Primarily, I write Wincest now, but I have and continue to write Dean/Reader and Sam/Reader stuff. I ship Wincest, but I am Proship and I am ship and let ship. Do you
think you're multi-ship now? Now that we've talked to more people, multi-ship. I mean, the fact that you're open to other ships, like you don't just have a one true pairing, right? Or do you think you multi-ship? Sorry, I'm asking you questions right on the fly during your, who am I? Because I'm just thinking, has that changed?
I would say I am pro-ship.
Okay.
Like my one true pairing is me and Sam. That's what I want out of life. That's my one true pairing.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the show and stuff like that, I am a Wincest person.
Okay.
So, but like I said, I've written Sam and Dean and Reader. I've written Dean. I've written Jensen with Dean. I've written Sam and Jared. Like I've dabbled in like RPF and stuff like that. So I guess maybe you could call me a multi-shipper, but only specific ships, I guess.
Yeah, I just think we've had conversations with more people that have kind of described multi-shipping. So I think it just opens up my thought process about it. But I'm sorry. I derailed. I apologize.
No, that's totally fine. I can't remember what I was about to say.
You were talking about writing, and then I just need to talk about shipping.
And then and then Sandra hold me off. So yeah, that's what I write. Like I said, primarily I write Wincest now, but I have written Het in the past. I go back to Het every so often. I like things on the darker side, not necessarily angsty, but I'm more liable to play with kink and consent and stuff like that.
And when did you get into Supernatural?
Oh, you're so fucking good. When did I get into Supernatural? I think I started watching the show in 2017, but I kind of dropped off. I came back to it in like 2019, 2020. And I met Sandra in 2000. Did we meet in 2020? Yeah, it must have been 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I met Sandra in 2020 through a mutual friend who grabbed both of us and went, we're going to write something. And me and Sandra were like, oh, okay. Fine, we're gonna write
Mildly
something.
terrified over that.
Mildly terrified. But there was a group chat and Sandra pitched the idea of the podcast. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm down for this. So that put us on this merry little ride. So the only season of Supernatural I watched live was season 15. I caught up on everything else before that. And because I'm in the UK, I would have to wait until the day after it aired before it would come on the CW website. So it usually meant that, like, by the time I'd seen it, so Sandra's in the US, I'm in the UK, and our other friend was in Australia. And it usually meant that by the time, like, time had ticked over and I'd seen it, everyone else had seen it, and we'd be there every week, like, what the fuck was that? For, like, the whole last season. And, yeah.
Not the whole last season. It was when they came, it was when COVID came.
Were we late?
We started watching it live together when it came back on via COVID, but I think we had all been watching on our own. But when the COVID return, the last,
because that was only
last 5 episodes,
4 or 5 episodes. Didn't they? I think they came back with Last Holiday.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there was Last Holiday, and then there was a really stupid flashback one. And then it might have been Despair.
Mm.
And then it was...
Oh, there was another one. There was another one in between.
Maybe it lasts 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. 5 or 6.
The back half of season 15, we watched,
mm-hmm.
like, not together, but, like, everyone would watch it. And the group chat would be like, you can't say a goddamn thing in the group chat because I haven't seen it yet. You gotta wait. And yeah, that was... And then me and Sandra started this after the show had finished. We were like, let's do podcasty things. Let's get on board. And what we set out to do is 100% not what we do now, but
that's
it's
what we're
fucking
great.
About.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's all you need to know about me. To be fair, any other questions, Sandra? Prompt me with anything else?
No, I
you basically went, tell me an interesting fact about yourself, and my brain went, I've never done anything interesting in a day in my life.
Did a ton of interesting things.
I guess in terms of the podcast, actual podcasting, I run the social media side of the actual podcasting. That's what I do.
Which is a lot. I couldn't do it.
I manage the merch.
Which is a lot. I couldn't do it.
Extent. I'm responsible for the YouTube channel. That's kind of...
Which is a lot.
I turn up, I'm the talent. I turn up on the episodes. And sometimes I've even read the document before I get there. If you go back and you listen to earlier episodes, you will find me by a different name. I am non-binary, and I changed my name maybe like a year ago, I guess.
Almost
maybe longer.
2, I think. Almost 2 years?
Maybe 2 years ago. But if you go back, you will find me by my dead name. Like, it's totally fine. Like, I don't have an issue with it. But just, if you're going to reach out and you want to talk to me, it's Kasey. That's changing my name. That's it. Sandra, tell us about you, bro. What's happening with Sandra?
Well,
Sandra's looking off to her monitor like she's written a script. And if you've written a fucking script, that would be so mad.
I haven't. But as Kasey said, they are the pantser. I am the plotter in this duo. I need a script. I usually need some basic bullet points to know where we're going. So we had a document from what we did 2 years ago, which I highlighted. And then we have some facts about what we're doing currently. Me, Sandra, she, her. I live in the United States. I live on the... did you
say my pronouns? I didn't
say your pronouns. Say your pronouns.
I'm they, them.
There we go.
Say that. Yeah.
I'm Sandra. She, her. I am the Gen Xer in the group. Kasey is the millennial.
The baby.
The baby. As they like to tell me over and over and over again. And then I also put that out there too. They don't always like it when I call them the baby, but they like it when they can get to say that they're the baby in this group. Let's see. I started my whole, supernatural journey was back in 2019. I started watching it on Netflix. Got pulled in, not because of Jensen Ackles. It was Jared Padalecki, because I'd seen him on Gilmore Girls. And when you watch something, of course, on Netflix, they give you suggestions. And one of the things I had seen suggested was Supernatural. And I am not one for horror, sci-fi. I'd be like, I really don't know how you can classify Supernatural at this point. I feel like it mixes a lot of different genres, but it had never been on my radar. as something I'd want to watch. But then I saw these two lovely men pop up on the screen, and I was immediately like, I know him. I know him from when he was younger. That's Jared Padalecki. He grew up cute. I think I might want to watch this. Jensen Ackles was right there. But as we all know, Jensen Ackles is an incredibly beautiful, almost not quite human quality of beautiful. Like, it goes above and beyond that. And I think I immediately, with the pose and everything, I was like, pretty boy. Let me go for the other one. So started watching, kind of watched the first 2 episodes with my husband, dropped off, started watching again. I was actually listening to my first introductory episode where I had watched it while I was going to sleep at night by myself, and I would fall asleep as I was watching it. So I would lose episodes and episodes. And then I would wake up and be like, I don't know what the hell's going on. We'll just watch the recap, figure it out. I tried really hard to make Sam my Blorbo for a good 6 years. And again, not like anything like intentionally, but I kind of like just didn't really pay a lot of attention. And I was kind of a casual watcher, I guess you'd say in the beginning. And then season 6 rolled around. And even though the third man did air, for some reason, a couple episodes after that, I was like, I just think I'm not paying enough attention to Dean. And that's pretty much all she wrote. I started paying more attention to the show. I started to get into, once I got to the point where I was caught up on season 14, and it was before season 15 came out, I said, now I think it's safe for me to go into and look at these like con things that I'd heard about. And I started watching those, started getting really excited about that whole concept of the fact that a show had its own convention. And I think I'd gotten my husband, I said, husband, please start watching this show. I think you're going to like it. And then I kind of hit him a few, maybe a month or so later. Oh, by the way, I've gotten tickets to a convention to this show. We're going to this. And then I think at some point I mentioned, oh, by the way, I really love Dean Winchester. He is like my go-to character of all time. I said, I've got it really bad for this character. Then, of course, 2020 rolled around. COVID hit in March of 2020. I had convention tickets in April of 2020. That was not happening. Took a little while, got into the whole fandom aspect of it, got started writing. I'm a writer. I primarily started writing actually Dean original female character stuff, then Dean Reader. I got rolled into this project with Kasey and Dandelion Dreaming. I think it was around September when that came out of 2020. From there, we had like this group chat. We talked pretty much every day, multiple times a day. Kasey and Dee were really like, I think, my lifeline during a really difficult time for everybody. The world was falling apart. Nobody knew what was going on. Supernatural also became that comfort factor for me that I think even if I had found this show at a different point in time, I don't think it would have the same resonance for me as it does now, because it really is, when things are bad and horrible, you can always go to this show. And in every sense of the word, it should not be a comfort show. It shouldn't, but because it focused on family, found family, the brothers, that bond really just carried through 15 seasons in a way that I've never experienced with any other show.
100%.
I think the whole podcast thing, like how that started, I'd also been listening to podcasts that were supernatural related. I could not find a podcast, even though I'd found other podcasts that focused on, say, Destiel fanfic. I don't know how much of a Wincest lens podcasts were doing back then, but I couldn't find anything that was really focused on reader insert and OFC fanfic. And that's my, would you say bailiwick? Bailiwick? Is that a word? I think I've heard bailiwick. I don't know. Casey's looking at me with like deer in headlights. Bailiwick? Is bailiwick a term? Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, I think that was sort of like that's where I live and breathe and feel really comfortable in that space. I'd found a podcast that actually was devoted to Destiel podfics, and it was called Making It Up As We Go. And I loved listening to them, but I I wanted to hear something else. I wanted to listen to something else. And so then I kind of got it in my brain. And again, this is nothing like anything I ever would have thought we would have been doing. At least I know I wouldn't have been doing 4 years ago. I approached, I think, Kasey and Dee. I said, I said, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. Would you guys maybe want to come along with me? I think Dee was a little on the hesitant side. But Kasey was like, well, because of course my thing was, well, I want to talk about Dean. And Kasey was like, well, you need to have somebody that's going to balance this and talk about Sam. So we started that whole process again 4 years ago. It's just kind of melded and transformed and become all these different things. And I think that's what's so great about time with a person like Kasey, where we can kind of maneuver fandom and our space together and figure out our flow and work it out. Because again, Kasey is the talent. Kasey is an amazing pantser. I think if I was doing this on my own, I still wouldn't be doing it. I would have tried it and stopped because it would have been too much. And we always thought, oh, this would be a fun little thing to do. It's become a part-time job, and I think we were joking earlier, like we can't not think in content creator
everything's content
mode anymore. Like at least when we talk about the podcast, we talk about, well, what can this become? What can we turn this into? And I think that's really benefited us because we've kind of shifted and gone with the fandom and found our space. Because again, we're kind of hard to pin down because we're not a rewatch podcast. We don't really focus on Destiel. We don't really focus on Wincest primarily.
Yeah,
we don't really
we're not a rewatcher. We're not a ship focused. We're kind
even though
of
we
like
ship, but
we ship, but it's not. We're not like there are podcasts that look at the show through a Destiel lens or a Wincest lens, but we don't do that either. We just kind of bounce around.
Yeah, we talk about what we like. We talk about things we want to try to learn more about. And I think I guess if I would say my shipping is, as Kasey said, them and Sam, it's me and Dean. I'd like to think my ship name would be Deandra with Dean,
which
if that was an actual thing.
Cute. That's super cute.
But I think I'd
have Cam.
Yeah.
Or Stacy.
Aw.
No. Stacey.
Stacey.
That's what I'd have.
Yeah.
And what do you do on the podcast, Sandra? Everything that I didn't mention, that's what Sandra does.
So I edit. I also, on the YouTube end of it, we decided to start doing shorts. So I kind of do that aspect of it too. I get the shorts ready for YouTube.
Yep.
I schedule.
Sandra does guests.
I do guests. I do guest outreach. Sometimes Kasey does. Kasey's getting better at that. Kasey has outreached a few times. This past year. They don't like it, but they do a good job of it. When they come up with an idea, they're like, "Oh, I have an idea." We all come up with ideas. We both come up with ideas. Yep. The scheduling thing has become an interesting thing too, because when we first started, we thought we would maybe only release once every other week, and then somebody got it in their head that, oh, we could do it every week. And so we do it every week now.
Doesn't sound like something I'd say.
The content has changed a little bit, but it has a little bit more of a focus in terms of, I think, how we try to schedule. I can't say that will continue, but we have a method to our madness. We do, so I do that. What else do I do?
Sandra edits. Sandra does art. So if I manage the merch, Sandra makes the artwork for the merch.
Some of it. Yeah, some of it.
Some of it I do. So you can tell when it's mine because it's crap.
No.
But if it's good, it's Sandra's.
No.
Sandra does everything to do with Spotify. Everything to do with audio, Sandra does. Sandra's also the talent. There wouldn't be a fucking podcast without Sandra. So Sandra's also the talent. And Sandra does like a lot of the research as well. I'm pretty good with coming up with, we should talk about this. And then Sandra goes away and comes up with Google Docs and then I don't read. So I imagine that must be incredibly frustrating for Sandra, who's like, I have spent hours on this because you at least fucking look. Like, if it's really important, she'll message me like the week before and be like, you need to at least look at this before we record. Yeah. Because like, I need you to be aware of this. But like,
again, we've been together, I think, a while, where we know we know everybody, we know each other's strengths, and we know how to balance each other, I think, pretty
Yeah.
well. So
it's a finely tuned machine, but it works really fucking well.
yeah. So I think that's I mean, I think that's in terms of like what I do, how I got into the show, where we are now. But I think initially what we thought the show would be, our podcast show, is definitely kind of not now.
When we got into it, we were like, we're going to talk about fan fiction. We're going to talk about like reader insert and OSC.
Everything explicit.
Everything explicit. That's what we're going to talk about. And now, 4 years down the line, I would consider us a time capsule podcast. That is what I would consider us now. We interview authors in the fandom. We interview other fandom peeps, so fan artists, podfickers, stuff like that. And, you know, we've had some like newer writers come on and talk to us, and we've been privileged to, I mean, we're privileged with everyone that we talk to, but we've been really lucky to have some old guard fandom people come on. And I kind of feel like where we are now is we're a time capsule. We're holding space for what is happening in the fandom right now. And we're talking to people who've been in the fandom since the very beginning. We're talking to people that's just come in the last year, you know, and we're holding all of these different opinions and thoughts and views on the show. And I think that's what we do now.
Yeah, I think the history part
and
of
we rank stuff.
Yeah, well, that. But I think going in terms of like the fandom, the history stuff, I think is becoming really important to me. And I think we're actually like when we do reach out to what we call our old guard, people that we've heard from or we know of in the fandom, and when we're lucky enough for somebody to come on, we really get we're talking 2 decades now of this fandom. So we sometimes get a lot of insight into how it was back in 2005, how it was back in 2015. Because again, we were not in this until close to Kasey a little bit before me, but like really towards the end of the show. And then we've been here since. But it's really interesting to hear how the show and how the actors and how everyone else kind of sort of went along their journey and evolved as well with things like social media and different things like stuff. I mean, people didn't like 2005. People were you could still use a payphone in a lot of places. Like there were still like, you had the flip phones, you had things that weren't necessarily just at your fingertips as they are now. And to see that journey and how people did find ways to communicate with each other and to say, hey, I've got a fanfic. Hey, I'm on LiveJournal. Hey, now I've moved on to this other thing called AO3. So seeing that progression, seeing the reasons why, seeing people who've been with the fandom forever, some people who dipped out, came back, some people who've left. And, you know, we've had some people who really aren't in the fandom as much anymore, but still talk to us about their experience and time in the fandom. I think that's really important to kind of wrap around all of the other stuff that we do. Because we also talk about, we do have very like show-centric episodes where we do talk about specific characters. We're always going to talk about Sam and Dean. Sam and Dean are what makes that show. And they are the building block of that show. So no matter what you hear us talk about a show episode, more than likely, somehow Sam and Dean are going to get folded into it.
In some way, yeah. But we look at the other characters, you know, and like story arcs that other characters have had, how those story arcs have folded in with Sam and Dean's story, stuff like that, like characters that we think deserve better, characters that we think deserve worse. We'll get into all of that. We like to talk about the themes of certain episodes as well. And more recently, sort of back when we started, rewatch episodes were like pretty rare. I think we maybe did like 1 or 2. But now we've got a bigger Discord community and we rewatch episodes with our Discord community. So if we want to rewatch an episode for an episode of the podcast, we'll watch it in Discord and we'll incorporate our Discord peeps' views and thoughts and opinions and stuff like that into our episode rewatches. Like this year alone, we've done Mystery Spot, we've done The Great Pumpkin, Sam Winchester. Last year or the year before, we did
Condition.
mint condition rewatch episode for the podcast. We've done a very supernatural Christmas, stuff like that. So yeah, we're not a
It's
rewatch
sprinkled
podcast.
in, but it's
but
in
occasionally,
there.
yeah. And if it stands still for long enough, we'll rank it.
Yeah.
We do really like, we'll rank episodes, we'll rank shirts, we'll rank hair, we'll rank fucking shoes. I think we haven't actually ranked shoes, but I'm sure we could.
We could probably wrap that up into the next thing that we're going to do with ranking outfits. We should probably.
Yeah, that's ranking outfits coming up. We've ranked the show so many different ways. We've done tops and bottoms, and then we've done all stars, the tops of the tops and the bottoms of the bottoms. And then we did who tops and who bottoms in the actual sexual sense. But no, if it stands still long enough, we'll rank it. We have done con breakdowns. We don't do them so much anymore because Sandra's been to enough cons that it's like old hat for her now. So like we don't talk about it.
One of the things I'm hoping we're going to do, and again, this might not happen, but since I think this relates to the fandom part of it, because we are getting we have such a great community, and I think we're part of the community now more with server and Discord and all of those things. One of the things I want to try to do is find some time to like have people in our Discord who have con stories to tell. I want to be able to find some time like to record them and then maybe like group them into little anthologies and maybe a couple times a year.
Yeah, in that same kind of time capsule kind of thing. But we've done like our personal con breakdowns when we've been to conventions. Occasionally we have husband guests. Sandra's husband has come on, usually for con breakdowns, but he's come on for a couple of other episodes as well. And right at the very start, one of the things that Sandra really wanted to focus on was reader insert OFC fanfiction. So that's gone through a couple of iterations. We started off with a thing called canon fodder, which is where Sandra would bring a fic and I would bring a fic. We would discuss them and Sandra would do a narration of them.
We did that for every episode. So we were really trying to make that work. Yeah.
But it kind of like what we found happening was our episodes were getting longer and longer and longer and longer and longer. Something had to go. Something had to get cut. And it wasn't going to be us because we're fucking interesting. So canon fodder kind of hit the cutting room floor. It got replaced a little bit later on. Spotify used to have a feature where you could send a voicemail to a podcast. So we were like, hey, hit us up with some recs, reader recs, send us them. And we did that for a little while. And now both of those things were retired, but they're also still kind of here. Because what we do now is tags and tropes. So me and Sandra are both AO3 users. I don't post on Tumblr unless I have to post on Tumblr for a bang or a bingo, but I don't like regularly post my work on Tumblr. So we're both AO3 users. And God bless AO3, it's great. But like sometimes it's just a little bit confusing. So we've done like some AO3 tips and tricks as well. And now what we're focusing on is what we're calling tags and tropes. So that's where we're looking at AO3 for specific tags. We've done hurt comfort. We've done amnesia. We've done Omegaverse. What else have we done, Sandra? Help me.
We've done sex work. We've done sex curses. We've done...
Yeah, sex pollen and sex curses.
Sex pollen, sex curses. I'm sure we've done other ones I can't think of right now, but we've done a good handful of them, and they actually do get really good reception because, again, we reach out to our Discord members, and I'm like usually like, hey,
Sandra likes a Google form.
I like a Google form.
Google form.
Rec me some stuff because we're going to be talking about this specific tag or trope. I do my research, and it could be something Kasey and I do like to read or do like to write, or it could be something we've maybe never really focused on much, and we kind of like dig into the whys. Age regression. That was
the other one.
I think that might have been our first one. I think maybe way back.
Yeah, and we like that's a community thing. We'll put out a poll to our community and be like, hey, which one of these like tags or tropes would you want us to look at? The community helps choose. The community helps send us fic recs and stuff like that, and we'll go and we'll grab like the stats from AO3 about like how many fics there are and what kind of tags kind of go along with that, what you can expect from that trope. Like obviously Omegaverse is a trope more than a tag. So canon fodder and reader recs have all kind of just been folded into this new thing.
So that kind of goes under the fanfic umbrella. Then there's another one that Kasey handles. Kasey handles research with this. It's called Fact versus Fiction. Kasey, what's that about? What are those episodes about?
That's where I yell on the internet about sex. That's what that is. So fact versus fiction is obviously fan fiction is fiction, and it can be beautifully sanitized, and you can take out all of the icky stuff about sex, which is great. That's awesome. But Sometimes things in fanfiction are so very wrong that I have to come on the internet and yell about it because you'll hurt yourself. So that's what fanfiction is. It does have a tagline, is dispelling some of the more common myths and incorrect fanfiction tropes. So yeah, it's kind of like a little bit of sex ed, but also a little bit of like fiction's fiction and it's fine. But if you want to put a little bit more realism in it, here's some more realistic stuff that you can do. And we've covered the first one was to do with Lou, because I read a fic that was just it viscerally upset me. It was so I was just viscerally upset by what this author was trying to do, and I was like, Sandra, I have to scream about this on the internet. And she was like, okay, you could yell about this on the internet. I'll give you platforms to yell about this. And now it's become a thing. So we covered that. But we also have a 3-part series on sort of BDSM. So we have a part on consent, we have a part on aftercare, and we have a like absolute basics guide to BDSM, you know, like what is safe, sane, and consensual, what is rack. When that first started, that was my baby. More recently, we have a guest host, Runaway Dreamer, who helps out with that and comes on and presents them with me. We have a lot of thoughts, but they take a lot of research, so they're not as common as they used to be. We had a few in succession, and I think it's gone down to like one a year, something like that. But that's also what we do.
That's also under fanfic. I think the one thing we should talk about too, under like what we consider fanfic, is we do write, and so a lot of times we like to talk about our writing experiences. So like if we're doing a contest, if we're doing a bang, if we're doing a bingo, if we've decided to sign up for yet another thing and want somebody to hit us over the head and say, why are you doing that to yourself? We will talk about our experience, because as writers in this fandom, it's always great to talk to other writers as well and get their insight, why they write, how they write, you know, the different things.
What is your process?
What is your process? Like we like to hear that. And then we like to talk about it as well, and we think other people like to listen to it too, who are fellow writers or readers and are just interested in, well, how did you come up with that? So sometimes we'll do a gently taking authors to task, where if we have a certain person come on, we might talk about a specific piece of fiction that we've come across. And sometimes we've done that with ourselves when we've done bangs. We've like
Sandra's done. Yep, Sandra's done the Dean Winchester bang. I did the Sam Winchester Japad bang. We've both done some bingo stuff. I hauled Sandra and Runaway Dreamer into the Wincest Big Bang last year, so we broke that down as well. And in and amongst all that as well, we both have like sort of long running series as well that we've broken down and talked about. So Sandra has her Some Sunny Day series. I have Demonic Junkies, which we've broken down and we talked about that. And also, like, she doesn't do enough stuff, Sandra is also a professional original fiction author as well. So when she released her last book, we broke that down as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I read it and I was like, I'm going to read this like a real reader and I'm not going to make notes. And then I really wished I'd made fucking notes by the end of it. But yes, we do, when we have time, in and amongst all that other shit that we do, we like to talk about our writing. We like to talk about things that we like to write, themes that we like to write. And yeah, usually something's come up. We've done a contest or a bang or a bingo or something like that. We'll talk about that. So coming up, me and Sandra are both in for the Sam Win Japad Secret Santa exchange this year, because bless Sandra, she's not the most comfortable writing Sam. So every so often she gets an idea and she's like, I'm going to write Sam. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this so much. You're so fucking sweet. So we're both going to be writing Sam stories. I signed up for the Sam Win Japad Big Bang Reverse Bang, because I'm insane. So I'll probably be talking about that sometime next year.
Yeah.
And in and amongst all of that, in the like 4 fucking nanoseconds left of the day that we have, we're also collabing on something else, which
maybe
will be released.
We'll see the light of day at some point. Yes.
But me and Sandra, I think we've announced it to our Discord, but me and Sandra are collaborating on original fiction.
Mm-hmm.
And every month or so, one of us will say,
you know, we should really
once
get
I'm
back to
done
that.
with X, I'm gonna get back to that. And then we're never fucking done with X. So it's just sitting there. But it will get done. One day we're going to be done with everything and we're not going to sign up for anything fucking else, and then we'll finish this bloody thing.
We're going to have pockets of time to do that. But I was going to say too, because I think you mentioned like what you typically like to write. Like you write a little bit more darker, a little bit I'd say
Yes.
kinkier, and
Yeah.
I'm probably the
Sandra writes
fluffy,
this fluffy
romantic stuff. So I think that's like, we really are, I think,
we're very balanced.
It's very balanced in that way. I think how we, but I think what I love about it too is we can always come together and talk about why we're writing it. We have a lot of interest in how the other person is progressing and in their writing journey. And even if it's not necessarily, because I know what I write is not Kasey's cup of tea.
No, I love it though.
But Kasey will read it. But Kasey will read it, and Kasey will have thoughts. And Kasey loves my comments on their stuff, because I think I said it very succinctly once. I was like, this is not what I would normally write, but I love that you found your voice.
Yes.
And I love that you can now express yourself in a way that you really have taken down that wall or that shield, and you're really trying things out. And I think the way that we reach our different readers, I think, is very special too, because when you get that comment that somebody really just your writing has changed their viewpoint, or they don't feel alone, or somebody's like, I remember your characters, I love these characters. Yeah. Those are things that, as a writer and as other people who are listening who are writers, those comments mean the world. So kudos, comment if you're a reader, do all the things, because your writers love that. And if you want them to continue to write those things, they love having an audience, because we could be writing this stuff for ourselves. I did for years. I wrote these stories for myself. But when we put them out there, it's not just for ourselves. We want to share it with other people. Yeah, and that's how a lot of writers are. They want to share that love of a character, love of a ship, love of an idea with others. And we have so many great people who we've met over the past 4 years for that.
We've been lucky enough to collab with them as well. Like I said, although we all wrote separate things, me, Sandra, and Runaway Dreamer did the Winchester Big Bang together last year, and that was a real group effort of getting everybody over the finish line. This year we did pod together with our very good friends Jackie Jinkies, Would You Look at This, and BJ Darley Starscream, which I'm very fortunate to work with those amazing authors as well. And also, we're down to about 1 nanosecond left in the day now. Every so often, Sandra gets a fucking wild idea, and she was like, we should do a challenge. We should do a word count challenge. And I'm like, I don't know why you keep doing this to me, bro. And she's like, no, shut up, it'll be fun. So we've done a couple of word count challenges as well. A 3K word count. I think I actually laid the gauntlet down on that because Sandra has this absolutely insane ability to be able to take the barest idea and just make pages with it. There's so much plot, and I'm like, bro, you wanted someone to fuck. What has happened? So I laid the gauntlet down for the first one, and I was like, write something under 3,000 words. Write something. And that was actually Sandra's first foray into Winchester, which was super cute. Yeah. And that was my folly, because then she came back to me a year later, and she was like, we should do a 1,000 word fic. And I was like, oh, shit. And now she's got another idea in her head that we should do a drabble. We should do a 100 word fic, which is terrifying. So yeah,
I think this sort of segues into maybe the podfic stuff aspect of what the show is about too.
So in and amongst all of that, Sandra, so this is starting right from the very beginning with Canon Fodder, because Sandra would read excerpts from the fics that we would bring from Canon Fodder. So 2021, Sandra had never narrated anything a day in her life. Today, 2025, Sandra is an established freelance narrator, which is fucking awesome. Sandra narrates all of our podfics. Sandra narrates as I said, on freelance. Sandra narrates podfics for people that come on, guests that come on the episode. Sandra is a prize if you are a part of the SPN Fanfic Pond. Sandra is one of the prizes if you win their monthly,
they do writing challenges, different things. They have the Angelfish Awards, and I'm one of the possible prizes that somebody
you can pick Sandra to narrate your fic. Sandra will also work in trade as well.
I have.
If we need something from you, Sandra will trade you a narration fic.
Yeah. Yeah, it works. It works out.
Trade is excellent. With the worst thing we ever did as a species was invent currency.
Yeah.
Trade was excellent.
Yeah.
So
I think that's been very beneficial a couple of times for this podcast doing that. Yes, it has. Yes, indeed.
So I don't have anything to do with that because I don't know if you can hear this voice. It don't lend itself to explicit fan fiction. I don't have the right accent for that. Sandra has a beautiful accent, and her Dean voice is chef's kiss. It's perfection. So yeah, I don't know. Like, if you're all sitting there going, "Fuck, does Sandra find time in the day?" I would like you to know that Sandra holds down 2 jobs as well. So fuck all of us that can't get our shit together. Look what this girl doing. 2 jobs. And this is like a 3rd fucking job.
We were talking about before, like how many number of episodes. So
Sandra's writing down all the shit of mine that she's gonna cut out for the audio version of this.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. But what I was thinking about too was that when I'd first started, and again, like I will read pretty much anything. I have a couple no's that I won't like podfic for. In terms of, my squicks and different things like that. But I'm pretty open. Like I will, any pairing, any ship, I don't care. I'm pretty much open to narrate whatever.
Would you consider yourself a multi-shipper after all of the people that we've spoken to?
I mean, I think my one true pairing doesn't exist in canon, which is me and Dean. So I think to that extent, I think I probably do multi-ship because having read, like, I really do think I have a soft spot for Sabriel, and I never thought I would really like that as much, but podficking a lot of different people's works and stuff, it's cute. And I like that. And the writing process and then podficking other people's stuff has given me, like, there's stuff I never would have read unless I was given, this prize or something. So I do think I multi-ship, but I don't think I have a one true pairing, you could say, really, like in canon that I have. But I'm definitely pro ship. Like, ship what you want to ship, love what you love. Just let other people do the same thing. That's all. Your kink is not my kink, and that's okay. Not everybody needs your stamp of approval on something. Just let people do their thing.
That is super important to, like, the core of the podcast is that we are pro ship. We are ship and let ship, and we are your kink is not my kink, and that is okay. We will talk to anybody about anything. As long as you can have a reasonable and civil conversation and discussion with us, we'll talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, I would, like, we have, like, I'm not a Destiel shipper, but we have Destiel shippers lined. We've had them on, but we have people lined up that I'm like, no, come back to me, talk to me as a Destiel shipper to a Windsor shipper. I want to get into this with you. I want to see where you're at. Because not from like a conflict.
No, because there's a love of the show.
Thing.
It's a love of the show, and it's a love of characters. And I think that's really important. Like, not to just say, no, my way is the right way, or this is the only way. Because I think we are at a society and cultural level that has gone above and beyond that to an extent that I think we need to pull back and just be like, you can do what you do that makes you happy. If it doesn't hurt anybody, have at it. It's fiction. When we're talking about fan fiction, it's fiction, so have at it, have at that. So I think with initially, if you've been with us since the beginning, you'll know there were a lot more podfics out there that were like explicit and mature. We pulled those because I had a thought. I'm like, this probably isn't the best thing to have out there. So maybe let's pull it back. You can still get to them. You can get to them on AO3, but they're not accessible on any of the podcast platforms anymore. So don't worry, it's still there. You just have to do a little, like, if you're an AO3 person, you know where it's at. I've been told I need to put these in more places. It'll eventually be a thing that I'll get to because there's other places where you can put podfics.
You know what? I'll put it in the Tumblr. We have a Tumblr as well. Mm-hmm. I'll put it in the Tumblr bio. But you can get to our AO3s from our Tumblrs. So it's
and our website.
It's not like it's shoved in the back corner.
No,
and we have a website as well.
Yeah. So I think
you can get your idling in the Impala merch.
Yes, idling in the Impala merch is there also. Yes, we do have a lot of that. That helps the podcast. So I'm realizing we're going over, so we're going to try to, like, I just want to put a couple of, like, numbers out there about the show.
Yes. We're very proud. We're proud of our numbers.
We've had over, like, for number of guests, we've had about 70 episodes out of our 233 that have featured guests. So again, we've run the gamut. Fanfic authors, fan artists. We had an anthropologist on to talk about fandom. We've had podcast hosts and creators, other podfickers, old guard to newbies, one true pairing lovers, pro shippers, multi shippers, all the people who love any and everything under the supernatural umbrella are welcome.
You don't have to be a creator in any capacity. If you love the show and you just want to come and hang out and talk to us, please come and hang out and talk to us.
Then estimated number of podcast hours. There's no way I could find this information, but if we average that each episode runs 2 hours, we're starting to get better. We don't necessarily run as long as we used to, but I'm thinking we're probably talking 460 hours of podcast content.
Shit.
So that's about 19 days worth of listening and well over the hours of actual supernatural show content. This does not include our actual recording time, which honestly we should probably double as an estimate. I wouldn't be surprised if we spent like 1,000 hours behind a microphone for the podcast. And that doesn't include the stuff I do.
That doesn't include like
My
the editing that
podficking,
Sandra
yeah.
does, the stuff I do to get the videos ready.
Yeah.
That's literally just sitting here at these desks talking into these microphones.
Yeah.
That's insane. Where do we find the fucking time, bro?
I don't know, but we're still doing it. So I think that's one of the things that we wanted to kind of do with this sort of recap, see where we're at, catch up with all our old time listeners and anybody who's just happened to chance upon us. Like I said, this is probably going to be our suggested episode, at least until we do this again and we review it again, which might be in another couple years, because we did this 2 years ago. So I said, it's time, Kasey, we need to update this thing. So I think maybe 2 years.
She tells me, I go what she tells me.
No, I mean like suggested stuff. We're still going to do, we're still doing this again. We'll do our birthday episode.
We do a birthday episode. We do a birthday episode every year, but this kind of like inspection time, who are we, what are we doing, updates kind of stuff.
Because we really have grown.
And
even within 2 years,
changed.
We've changed again.
It's massively changed. But yeah, hopefully you're still with us if you got through all that and you're new and you got through all that. So let's just do like a little breakdown of what you can expect if you stay with Idling in the Impala. We have show-centric episodes. We have fandom-centric episodes. We have fanfic-centric episodes, and we have guest interviews. Those guests can be also across the fandom. Board. But that is mainly the content that you can expect from us. Like I said, we do like a ranking episode.
And one more thing, because I wanted to put it out there. Yeah, ranking's also in there. But one thing, and that typically goes under the show-centric, I feel like, portion of it. But
yeah, okay.
I'm just one of those people, I have to check my Spotify data regularly. I'm like, I'll let Kasey know after a certain amount of time.
In there. She's in there. She's checking them numbers.
I've gotten better. I don't let you know every time we get a new follower. Like, because I used to be like, hey, we're at this. Hey, we're at this. Hey, we're at this. I don't do that anymore. For listeners in the US, Spotify has this lovely little thing where you can break down by country. You can break down by region. In the US, you can break down by states. I am on a mission. Eventually, we're going to get all 50 states that are going to pop up as listeners. Right now, there are 2 states that I'm trying to find the mystery state out of the 2 that I don't have data on yet. There is Montana and North Dakota. Apparently, one of you has never listened. One of you has. We just don't have information on you yet.
We just don't know which one it is. Yeah.
So I'm putting this out there. So if you're listening to this on the day it premieres, it's December 30th, 2025. So up until the end of next year, December 2026, if you are a listener from Montana or North Dakota, if you want to send us your name and address that shows you are from one of those states, I've got a lovely little sheet of Idling in the Impala stickers. I will mail that out to you.
That's a good fucking deal, y'all.
So I just need to know, hey, I'm from Montana. I'm from North Dakota. Don't worry. We're not going to dox you. You'll just email us that information. Swear it's not going to go anywhere. But I will put that in the mail for you.
But Sandra's ticking boxes. She's like, I want all of the states.
I want all the states. We even have District of Columbia. We need to get Montana and North Dakota represented.
Get it together, Montana and North Dakota. Get it together. Get listening. Join us in the back seat. Wrapping up. That's the kind of content that you can expect from us. We also occasionally do, like I said, we do live streams on YouTube every so often. We do rewatches in Discord. We have a pretty active Discord community that we do a whole bunch of stuff with. We only have a few rules here, like, hop in the back seat, join the Impala fan, but we do have a couple of rules. Driver picks the music, shotgun shots their K-Cole, obviously. Respect your fellow peeps in the back seat, ship and let ship, which is fucking vital to who we are. And no politics or religion. Like, talking amongst yourselves about it, fine. Publicly, no. Because it just makes everyone sad. Politics are sad right now. It just makes everyone sad, okay? No pets in the back seat, which is pretty self-explanatory. Dean will know. No feet on the seats. Be respectful. This is our home. You know, don't come in and put your feet all over my seats. Don't put food in the back seat either. These are just silly. And the ones in the back, enjoy the ride. And also, if you have a good time with us, which you will, like, obviously we're awesome, tell your friends. Like, follow, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Tell your friends. Be like, I found the bestest supernatural podcast. It's a little crazy. It's a little all over the place, but it's awesome. My goal for the podcast, and it has been for the past few years, and it is always going to be the goal going forward. I want you to feel like you're just hanging out with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
We're just hanging out. We're chatting. You know, like, we theme it around the car because it's cute, but that's what I want it to be. I want you to put in your headphones, turn on an episode, and just feel like you're hanging out with your buddies, talking about the show that you love. Yeah. That's what I want. That's what I want the vibe to be. That's what I want you to feel like. Like, we're here to keep you company on your commute, or when you got to, like, sit around at the DMV or the hospital or whatever. We're your buddies. Let's have a chat, you know?
We're that road trip buddy. We're that buddy that you can just sit in the same room with. You don't got to talk about much, but you're just going to have a nice time. You're going to feel safe. It's going to feel comfortable. Going to have a good time.
And hopefully you're going to laugh, because we are very funny.
You are. You are very funny. You are very funny.
You're funny.
I'm funny on occasion. Yes, on occasion it does come out.
So I was going to leave y'all on a paradoxical question, which is, wait, if we're in the front seat and you're in the back seat, is Dean not driving the car?
I don't know. Are we driving? I forget. Am I driving and Dean is grumpily staring at me from the back?
I always let us know, actually. If you imagine that the podcast is the car, do you imagine that me and Sandra are in the front seat and she is driving because she knows how to drive and I don't? Or do you imagine us in the back seat being driven around? Because I have always imagined us to be in the front seat of the car. And I just imagine Sam and Dean in the back and Dean just really angrily staring into the rearview mirror. So every time Sandra goes to check the mirror, just there he is. Absolutely furious that someone else is driving the car.
Could be a very bad distraction for somebody driving, because
it depends how much of a nervous driver you are, to be fair.
No, I'm saying having him in such close proximity behind me, and I would just constantly want to stay, even if he was glaring at me. I like to stare in the rearview mirror.
To think you would put all of our safety above Dean.
There's no guarantee when there's a certain look coming from Dean, so I don't know. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I want to specify this is not in any way like a look that there's no way you could misinterpret this look for lust or anything like that. It's absolute fury.
It kind of doesn't matter. You've seen his fury face. You've seen his fury face before. You can't tell me that's not enticing.
And it just every so often, I like to think every so often, there's like a thud from the back seat as he's stamping on the imaginary brake to make you stop doing whatever you're doing with his car. Not that I think you're an unsafe driver. I just imagine that. Or he's one of those people that like white knuckles like the handle on the door. Or like the back of the seat in front.
I imagine the back of the seat. Like I imagine his hands like on the back, like where I'm driving. Like he's literally like, I could probably feel his fingers like deep, like sinking into the seat and being like, seat. What are you doing?
Yeah. And he's just there and he's
like, pull over now.
With this imaginary brake pedal, and I can see him gripping the corner of the seat like fully white knuckled.
I just don't think he would have me doing it. Like I just don't think it's a thing. We'd have to, like in my version of it, we've taken the car for a joyride. He would in no way, shape, or form be okay with somebody else driving and him in the backseat.
They're not always there. When I think about it, they're not always there. A lot of the time we have stolen the car.
Yeah.
And I like, yeah, a lot of the time stolen is a strong word. Borrowed.
Yeah, borrowed.
Borrowed the car.
Which we did we did that a couple of times. Our original intro was we were borrowing the car, for something.
And we have every intention of returning it. And the fact that we're going for a drive at 1 a.m. when he's asleep is of no consequence to anything.
Yeah.
We just decided the moon was pretty and we were like, let's go for a drive.
Yeah.
But no, I can see him in the back seat and he's fucking just livid. Just absolutely livid.
Yep.
And Sam's there next to him in the back seat with his tablet or whatever. And just periodically you'll just hear, huh? Or, hey, get this, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just turn around and be like, what do you find? What is happening? Me and Sam are just having a nice conversation. And you're like, anxiety driving because you can just feel his hand getting tighter and tighter on the seat. And you're like, he's going to grab hold of me and I'm going to kill us all.
Oh, God. So, yeah, it's interesting. Let's hear your thoughts. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. And we should say, if you listen to some of our older stuff, man, we had skits. Kasey was so patient with me because I was like, we need to do skits. So there are skits like the first, the first year we tried a couple different ones. So be prepared. Those, once you hear it once, you're probably going to want to skip. But I was pretty proud of those at the time. Now I'm like a little cringy, but you know what? It's a time capsule. We're going to leave it. It needs to stay there.
It's an expression of growth.
It was still cute. It was cute. We were babies trying to figure it out, and now we're not quite babies, and we kind of have half an idea of what we're doing. They've heard our thoughts, and they can supply us with their thoughts on how they think the configuration of idling in the Impala is situated. If Dean and Sam are in fact joining us for a ride,
put them in the trunk. What do we do with them? Are they on the roof?
Maybe you have better ideas, like as to what should be happening.
Where did we put them? Is Dean driving and Sandra sat in his lap? Is Sam in the passenger seat and I'm sat in his lap? I'll tell you right fucking now, there wouldn't be a goddamn podcast if I was. Tell you that right now. I'll be doing other things. I'd be fucking busy. Sandra would be like, can we record an episode? And I would be like, no. Do you think I'd be able to record in that state? If I was in his lap. No, thank you. No, I would not. So if you are new, welcome to the Impala family. We're so glad to have you. And if you've been with us for a while, we genuinely cannot thank you enough.
Thank you so much for listening.
So much. So much. Thank you, all of you. And happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday to us.
And we will see you next year for season 5. If you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, there will be jumps around. If you join our Ko-fi, we do Ko-fi memberships. You'll hear about that in a minute. If you join our Ko-fi and join our Discord, this whole all of this uncut audio will be in Discord. And not only will it be in Discord, it's video as well. We're cameras as well, so we're recording. So you will get to see my faces as I talk. I am Narcissus, and this fucking box is my lake. I swear to God. It's like I'm going to wrestle my eyes away to read stuff. You can join us on Ko-fi, and you will have access to not only this, but other live stream VODs that we've done, other video episodes that we've done. If you just want to see our faces, they're going to be there. And you will see all of the fucking chaos and mayhem that goes on in the background before Sandra gets her hands on it. And editing Sandra comes out, gets her hands on it, fucking snips it down to be reasonable, and gives me the audio back to put it on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But Sandra wants to do an outro, guys. I think we might have done an intro. Did we do an intro?
We did do an intro.
That was a million years ago. I don't remember.
We're going to do an official outro. So we are going to say, pulling it all the way back, thank you for listening. Let us know what you thought of the episode. You can email us at idlinginttheimpala@gmail.com. You can comment on Spotify in the Q&A section. Leave a YouTube comment, join our Discord, and chat with fellow idlers and us in real time. Check out our merch store, which is another fun way to show your support. You can find details for everything on our website. That's idlinginttheimpala.com. Want to fuel our supernatural road trip? Consider joining us on Ko-fi. We have perks to go along with different membership tiers, and we'd love to have you along for the ride.
Speaking of perks, we've got special shout-outs for some of our Ko-fi members. From our Shotgun Picks the Music tier, we've got Runaway Dreamer, Crowley's Mistress, Sam and Dean 76, Elia, Charlie, and Just Whispering Fantasies. Thank you for picking the tunes in the car. Support like yours keeps our podcast going. Thank you. Don't forget, you can always support us for free by liking, commenting, subscribing on YouTube, and following, rating, sharing on audio platforms. Engagement like that really helps us with the algorithms. All hail their benevolence. As always, we have the causes that we support in the description. So for me, you have LGBTQ plus talking charities. From Sandra, you have mental health charities. And of course, the main causes that we are highlighting, championing, spotlighting are World Central Kitchen and Doctors Without Borders. If you want to know more about these causes, why we're supporting them, what they mean to us, check out idlinginttheimpala.com. there's a page there called Cause is Cause with all the details. So if you are new joining us in the backseat, welcome. Make yourself comfortable. If you are an old backseat pro, thank you for staying with us. We hope to have you with us for a long time going forward. Thank you to everybody for joining us, and we will see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.